Warning, this podcast may be disturbing to some listeners. Due to the graphic nature, listener discretion is advised. Welcome from wherever you are. This is the Demon Inside Podcast. I am your host, John Venom. If you would like to review another episode of the Demon Inside, you can go to Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and any podcast platform. You can also find us on YouTube and on our website, thedemoninside.transistor.fm. And please don't forget to subscribe and rate us with 5 stars. A new episode will come out once a week. Hello, my Demon Insiders, and welcome back to the Demon Inside. I'm your host, John Venom, and today we are going to be talking about the Demon Inside, Antonia Gomez Fuentes and Jody Lynn Kossow. Now, before we get into this, I wanted to send out 2 shout-outs. One is to the new financial manager at the World Car Kia on IH-35 North in San Antonio, Texas, who is Austin. So if you guys get a chance, go around. If you need financing for a car, Austin's your guy. And the second shout out is going to be Nelly. And Nelly is a police officer who works doing security for this construction that is happening all throughout San Antonio and probably throughout Texas. But Nelly, I had to go through her to get to my job site, and we started talking about the podcast. And you guys know me that if I start talking to you about the podcast, I'm going to send you out a shout out. So this is your shout out, Nelly. Now, if you guys are never in San Antonio and you want a shout out done, go ahead and send me an email letting me know that you'd like a shout out, and I'll go ahead and do that for you. I do that with Shannon and the Mayo Clinic all the time. So let's continue. As you know, I've been following this trend of mothers that kill 2 of their kids and they stab them to death. Now, I started with Brandi Worley, who was a couple of episodes ago. If you haven't heard it, I would go back and listen to it. But Brandi Worley, just to give you a little bit about what she did, she stabbed her 2 kids in Darlington, Indiana on November 17th of 2016. Her oldest child was born September 17th of 2009, and her second child was born on September 26, 2013. Now, I went back because those 2 dates sounded familiar, and I did find a mother that stabbed her 2 children on September 16th of 2009, which was a day before Brandi Worley's oldest child was born. Now, this happened in Westminster, California, and her name was Toy Lay, and she stabbed her 2 daughters, who both survived, thank God. And I also went a little bit further back on that one because there was another one that happened on September 2nd of 2009 in Los Angeles, California. And this was Antonia Gomez Fuentes. Now, the reason that I went back a couple of weeks was because her second child was born September 26th of 2013. There is a mother that stabbed her son over 55 times named Jody Kossow, and Jody Kossow stabbed her child on November 17th of 2016. But we'll get into that one later. Right now we're talking about Antonia Gomez Fuentes, and this happened in Los Angeles, California. Antonia was born in 1971 and raised in Ixtapa de la Sal in Mexico. Her family, like many in Mexico, were poor, but by the time she was 31 in 2002, she was married and had 3 girls and decided to come to the United States to make a better life for herself and her family. Now, when she was in Mexico, she sold trinkets and things like that to make ends meet, but it wasn't enough. Her girls at the time of the stabbings were 17, 14, and 11. In February of 2009, Antonia had gotten into a physical fight with her 14-year-old, according to the aunt. Antonia was trying to defend herself and bit her daughter on the arm. The girl ran away, and after she was found at her school, she was examined, and the police and social workers questioned Antonia. Now, a spokeswoman for the County Department of Children and Family Services declined to discuss details of the case, but she said that the department was investigating its contact with the family. So on June or July of 2009, Antonia lost her job at a Subway restaurant and was hospitalized for stress shortly after. Having financial problems, she and her 3 daughters had to move in with Antonia's mother, who owned a house, and they lived in a converted garage apartment behind the house for 3 months while they rented out the main house. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough because Antonia's mother's house was going into foreclosure. Now, Antonia's mother also lost her job. She ended up moving in also in the garage with them. So we're talking about the grandmother, the mother, Antonia, and her 3 daughters all living in a converted garage apartment, while there was a family who was renting the front house. Now, the family that was renting the house actually moved out at the end of August. So by September 1st, nobody was living in the house. So the income from the house was gone. Antonia's mom, the grandmother, was struggling, so she started every morning pushing a shopping cart and picking up recyclables to make extra money. Irene Bell, the neighbor, said that the morning of September 2nd, on the day of the killings, she saw Antonia, but did not sense anything ominous. Like many people in the neighborhood, including Bell's husband, she was out of a job and money was on her mind. Irene Bell said this, and I quote, "I talked to her about 7:15 that morning. She was watering the grass, and we talked about her being fired. The week before, she told me that if I find a job for her, let her know. She says she was looking for a job or they would have to go to Mexico." End quote. Now remember, the husband is still living in Mexico, so they could have made the transition back. Around 11:40 a.m. on the same day, there was a friend that came to hang out with one of the renters. This friend didn't even know that they had moved out, and he had actually went up to the door, knocked on it, looked through a window, and saw one of the victims laying on the ground in the front room, bloody and stabbed to death. Now, according to the police say one of the victims was found in the front room inside the main house, and the other was found in a converted garage in the back. According to the police, the sisters' throats were cut. Antonia was found at the location with the knife wounds to her upper body and wrist. She was then taken to the hospital, and they thought that she was also a victim, so they weren't treating her as the suspect. Now, she went under surgery and recovered, but she was listed in serious condition. The police weren't able to interview her until a couple of days later, when she was able to speak. So what happens next is by a testimonial from Detective Mario Santana during his court. And I just want to be clear that this is a crime against children. 2 children did die, and it's going to be a little graphic. So if you are disturbed by any of this, I suggest skipping over this. According to Detective Mario Santana, he testified that Antonia, who was in a local hospital, confessed to luring her 11-year-old daughter into the front room of the house by promising to play hide and seek. Santana said that Fuentes then admitted hitting the child on the head with a glass bottle, hoping to knock the girl out so that the girl would not feel her mother slashing her throat. The child did not lose consciousness and instead pleaded with her mother, telling her mother she loved her. Fuentes managed to slit the child's throat, Santana said. According to Santana, Antonia then told him she went into the home's detached garage apartment where she then stabbed and killed her 17-year-old daughter. Now, the 14-year-old wasn't at home at the time, and according to Antonia, that she knew she couldn't handle her because of the fight they had months earlier. So she actually waited for her daughter to leave the house to go to the library, and she also waited for her mother to go and get cans like she did every morning. And that's when she started to kill her two daughters. After that, she took sleeping pills and started to slit her wrists and stab herself. Now, this is all according to the confession that she made to Santana. Now, during the interview that the police gave her in the interrogation room, I wasn't able to get the actual interrogation tapes, but there was some things that they brought up, which I was a little hesitant to say here, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. What the prosecutor said was that in the interrogation tapes, Antonia said that she killed her daughters because she did not want to leave them alone, saying that there was no food for the girls, that she had no job, and that their faces looked so sad. Now, this was according to the detective who told the prosecutor. There was no confirmation of this by the 14-year-old. They actually took her and hid her from the mother and put her under protection because they didn't know if the father might come or if anybody else was involved or if the grandmother was involved. So they put her into protective custody until they could sort the whole thing out. Now, according to Antonia's brother and the neighbors and friends and family, that nobody expected her to do this. Nobody had any clue that she would do this. And nobody thought she was capable of doing this. And we've heard that so many times before. So let me give you what I think. And let me show you the pattern that I see. We're going to start like this. September 2nd, 2009, Los Angeles, Antonia Gomez Fuentes stabbed and killed her two daughters to death. 2 weeks and a day later, Brandi Worley gives birth to her oldest child. Now, does that have anything to do with this? I don't know. But it's kind of weird because on September 16th, a day before Brandi Worley gives birth to her child in Westminster, California, September 16, 2009, Toyle stabs her two children, but they survive. Now, the difference between Antonia Gomez Fuentes and Toyle is that they are an hour and a minute away from each other. They live that close to each other within September. Here's where it gets really good. Both stabbings happened in September, and her oldest child was born in September. Now, the second child of Brandi Worley was born September 26, 2013, also in September. The next show that I do is going to be Jody, Lynn, Kossow. Jody Lynn stabbed her son in September 10th of 2013. That is 16 days before Brandi Worley's second child was born. Is it a coincidence that these mothers all killed their kids on the days or on the month that Brandi Worley had her two kids that she killed by stabbing them to death? I don't know, guys, if this is a stretch. I don't know if I'm looking at straws. I'm picking things up that aren't there. I'd really like to hear your comments about it. Let me know. Send me an email. My email is thedemoninsidepodcast@gmail.com. thedemoninsidepodcast@gmail.com. And send me what you think or write it in the comments. What I find fascinating is this. Remember, when I did Brandi Worley, I saw no supernatural things to it. When I did Antonia Gomez Fuentes, to me, there was no spiritual entities, demonic, nothing like that. But what I did find was Lynn said there was a evil entity or an evil spirit in a haunted house that she was living in. Now the next one that I'm doing, Jody says that her child that she stabbed to death was under a demonic spell.
The community mourns the loss of an 8-year-old boy allegedly murdered by his own mother.
Tonight, 2 vigils across Rockford in hopes of giving hope to the family of Thomas Kossow. Eyewitness News reporter Matt Rodewald is the only reporter that's followed this from the beginning, and he has more now. Matt?
Nick and Mimi, the pain of losing a child is something that no parent should ever have to go through. Tonight, we met parents at each vigil who've had the unenviable task of burying their own children. And while they can understand the feeling to some degree, the murder of 8-year-old Thomas Kossow has touched the hearts of everyone in Rockford.
That's my memory of a little boy that I met once. I'm sorry.
The powerful emotion of the murder of an 8-year-old boy has shaken the core along the state line.
There's no pain like losing a child. There's just not.
The outpouring of support for the family of Thomas Kossow overflowed with grief as hundreds attended 2 vigils in Rockford.
Honestly, I want to cry. I do. I mean, seeing this, it's mind-blowing. It is.
I apologize. This isn't easy for me.
Chad Rogers spoke of his own tragic loss as a motivation to help the family's father, Michael Kossow, a co-worker of his at Lube Pros.
I lost my son almost 2 years ago, come this November. I know the pain of losing a child. It is not easy. It is extremely hard.
People we don't know are holding fundraisers to help us pay for memorial expenses and rebuilding the family's life.
A family spokesperson struggling to thank the community. With the neighborhood still in shock, Catherine Ayala knows the grief all too well.
You don't ever get over it. It gets easier day by day, but you never get over it.
We will lovingly lay Thomas to rest with his Lightning McQueen pillow and his blanket that he slept with every night. We love you, Thomas.
The full statement from the Kossow family is on our website at mystateline.com. If you'd like to help, you can find ways to donate directly to the family. The visitation and the funeral is tomorrow afternoon at Mount Olive Lutheran Church. And again, the mother sits in jail tonight facing 2 first-degree murder charges. She's being held on $2 million bond, awaiting her next court appearance coming up in October. Mimi?
Jody Lynn, I couldn't find much about her, but what I did find, I'm going to share with you. And it's not a lot, but it might be enough to explain what happened. So Jody was a self-professed Wiccan, and she lived in Rockford, Illinois, with her family, her husband, and they were all asleep on September the 10th of 2013, And at 2:13 a.m., her son, who is 8 years old, woke her up and told her that he couldn't sleep. So her and Thomas decided to go outside and look at the stars. Now, I don't know if he asked her or she asked him to go outside and look at the stars, but they were sitting outside in front of the house on the curb looking up at the stars when all of a sudden she told him that she was going to go into the house and get something. She goes inside, comes back out. She comes out with a paring knife. She gets on top of him and starts stabbing him to death. The boy was stabbed 40 times in the chest. His heart and lungs were pierced multiple times. His throat was still slit and slashed 7 times. And her son had defensive knife wounds to the hands and arms. Several wounds were 3 to 4 inches deep into his 74-pound body. At least 2 stab wounds to his torso penetrated to his spine. Overall, she stabbed him 55 times. After that, Jody went into the house where her husband and her daughters were still asleep. She dialed 911 on the cell phone and called the police, and she said, and I quote, "Satan was after me. God told me to kill my son. I just killed my son. I just killed my son. Satan was coming after me. Oh God, Satan was after me. God wanted me to kill my son. Please hurry." End quote. When the police arrived, they found her screaming, and her child was dead next to her. When the police tried talking to her, she started to bash her head against the curb. Now, before all this happened, she was a self-proclaimed Wiccan who says that her son was conceived under an evil spell, and she had to kill him to protect her family. Now, there was a psychiatrist who questioned her and talked to her and said that it was her religious beliefs that grew stronger in the months before she killed her son. She began reading various Bibles, attending church, and reading about witchcraft. The psychiatrist also said that Jody had become convinced she had done something sacrilegious and was being punished for having cast a spell in order to give birth to a son. Her spiritual and religious preoccupations had become so severe by September 10th of 2013, she believed she was killing her son, who was perhaps possessed or was an evil imposter of him, in order to protect and save the rest of the family from evil forces. Now, Jody had never been violent before. She was never abusive. She had never done anything to the kids. Nobody ever saw this coming. The only thing that I can say about Jody and doing this was that a couple of weeks later, Brandi Worley gave birth to her second child. Was this a demon that had Jody kill her child and then jumped to Brandi in hopes that down the line, or in planned hopes down the line, that she was going to kill her 2 kids as well by stabbing them to death? Think about that. They all happened in the months of September, and they all happened on the same years that Brandi Worley had her 2 kids. Is that a coincidence? Is that just me? Am I picking at straws? Or is there something to it? Is this a pattern that is so weird, but maybe to a demon, it's the best pattern ever? Because who other than me, a psychotic demonographer, would see it and share it with all of you? Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. And I'll talk to y'all next week.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Demon Inside podcast on any podcast platform. A new episode of the Demon Inside will be released every week. Let us know what you think of the episode on any of our social media platforms. If you have any questions or comments, go to the Demon Inside Podcast at gmail.com or click at the link below. We would love to hear from you. And to become a Demon Insider, go to the Demon Inside Podcast.transistor.fm. We thank you for listening and hope you will join us next week for a new Demon Inside podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please tell your friends. I am John Venom, and I'll see you next time, if I don't get possessed. The Demon Inside was created and written by James Porter. It is a production of Venomous Entertainment. Background music is by Lucas King. And the title song, The Demon Inside, was produced by Rice Fulber. Music and lyrics by Peter Shelley. And performed by Conjure One. All the content on this podcast is strictly the opinion of the content creator and not the organization, its affiliates, or employees.